All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back here to another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast. Of course, me myself as always, Sanders here. Got my guy Dupree here with me.
What it do, man? What's going on with
Man, we're just getting through the week, bruh. It's just it's really already crazy. We really gonna be halfway through this month. I really feel like that joint just started,
you? Yeah.
and we finna be halfway through the month. I don't know how it is up there in North Carolina right now, but boy, it was our first real hot day today for sure.
No,
Today. And it's supposed to be getting worse this whole weekend. It's supposed to get hotter each day. Like
yeah.
I think Sunday might end up getting close to triple digits. Like
Oh,
just on the regular temp, not even adding no type of humidity or heat index is like it's supposed to get us to like 98, 99 down here. So
okay. Yeah, it's supposed to be like we got a three day heat index out here coming up starting on Friday. Tomorrow is supposed to be, I believe, the high tomorrow is 92. I don't know about Saturday and Sunday, but it's supposed to be hot down here too, man. So we here. Welcome to
yep,
summer in the South.
facts,
Welcome to it.
facts. AC on full blast.
Oh,
No
yeah,
cap.
that's to.
AC on full blast. We ain't
Yeah.
wasting no time.
Mm-mm.
Man, but not too much to really get into this episode, but in a way still a lot to unpack and uncover. Obviously the main thing we saw now, we got the NBA finals still going on,
Mm.
and it looks like it's about to end sooner than than we probably expected it, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, man. I mean, game three obviously was last night, Wednesday night. The Celtics come back with a was down at the half by a point, and then had a masterful second half performance. Go on to get that 106-99 victory over the Mavericks. Now up, taking that commanding 3-0 lead, and pretty much no one has ever came back from a 3-0 lead in
Mm.
the NBA Finals ever, and not too many people has even been able to push it to a game six or a game seven, because that's kind of hard to sit up there once you down 0-3 to try to reel off four straight.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you see it happening to where you can get the four straight wins if you up to 3-0, but when you're down 0-3 and trying to make that push back, it's dang near impossible. Not saying it can't be done, it just hasn't been done. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but when you look at that game three, man, what's your biggest takeaway of what happened in game three, and the fact that there was no Kristaps Porzingis in game three?
Yeah. Excuse me, man, if I'm sniffing, man. Dealing with it, I think going back and forth, hot, cold, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
The biggest takeaway for me for Game Three is that when you got to the clutch moments of the game, your best player wasn't on the floor for the Dallas Mavericks, and I think that he cost them a chance to make this a 2-1 series. Um, I'm not getting into. First off, I do believe that there were some questionable calls on both sides, going either way, either for the Mavericks or for the Celtics. I do believe that. Regardless of all of that, I'm not here to dispute what fouls should have been fouls against Luka Doncic or not. The only one I care about is the 6-1. That's the only one I care about. You know you have five fouls. You know you have five fouls going into that point. I believe there was 3 or 4 minutes left, if I'm not mistaken, in the fourth quarter. You guys are on a 22-2 run. You're making a run to get back into the game after being down 21 points. Like you said, you go in the half up a point. You find yourself down by 20. You go on a 22-2 run, and on a transition play with Jaylen Brown coming full speed, you decide to try to take a charge in that situation with five fouls. That was not smart by Luka Doncic. I don't care about the fifth. I don't care about the fourth. Did he take some that were ill advised? Yes, he did. But the sixth one to me, you cannot take that foul. You cannot put yourself in that position with 5 fouls at that point in the game. You can't do it. You just can't, because now you have fouled out the game, and everybody in the arena and everybody watching knows that now it's basically the Kyrie Irving show. It's the Kyrie Irving show now. There's who else are they gonna? Who else is he gonna pass the ball to? That's gonna be able to go and get his own bucket by himself. There's nobody else on the floor. You would say maybe Tim Hardaway Jr., but I don't even know if he took a shot last night. He was 0 for 5.
0 for
Zero,
5. Yeah, I don't think he
zero
made a bucket.
points.
Yeah.
0 for 5 with 3 rebounds. So Kyrie's the only person on the floor that can create his own shot. So if I'm Boston, I know it's going to be Kyrie Irving. And then to Kyrie Irving, who bounced back and had a great game. Great game. He had a Kyrie-esque game. All right. I believe those first 2 games were an anomaly. Um, you're down by 4, and we kind of talked about this in the Sports Goonies real briefly. You're down by 4 with 40 seconds left. You do not need a 3. You do not have to jack up a 3. Go down, get a bucket, go to the basket. Al Horford, you got the switch with Al Horford on you. Go to the basket and take the layup. Get the 2 points. You might get fouled. It might become a 3-point play. But don't just jack up a 3. Once he shot that 3, fading away to his right, I mean, it's a tough shot. He's running to his right, dribbling to his right, hits and is fading away from it. Once he misses that 3, the game is essentially over. Boston comes down, hits a bucket, it's over. You're down by 6 at that point. Go to the basket, get fouled, or get the layup. Now you're down by 2. You get a stop. They've been playing great defense from the time they started that run, about midway through the third quarter, right at the end of the third quarter, really, on through the fourth. They've been playing great defense. Dallas had been. Take the 2, get a stop, and then you have a chance to either tie or win it at the end. But jacking up that 3 basically sealed the fate for the Dallas Mavericks. But Luka Doncic, man, you can't. That can't be the 6th foul. And at that point in the game, with basically your series on the line, you can't. That can't be your 6th foul to leave your guys hanging out there. And I think he did. When he took that foul, that was it. Because like I said earlier, if I'm Boston, I know it's Kyrie Irving, and that's it. And that's it. So Luka's performance defensively wasn't great. That last foul definitely hurt. And then if I'm Kyrie, man, you got to go to the basket. Everybody's selling for jump shots. I think you try to go to the basket, get the layup, get fouled, whatever it is, go to the free throw line, and try to cut that thing to 2. You got plenty of time left. So Boston played a great game. You knew that Dallas was going to come out with a they were going to come out inspired, being back at home, and they weathered the storm. They stayed composed, and ultimately worked their way back into the game because they were down by double digits. Worked their way back into the game. Went up 20. Went through weathered the storm of Dallas's run. Continued to hit timely shots, and the one went away from an NBA championship. So kudos to them.
Yeah, I think for me, it has to be that third quarter that Boston had. I mean, bruh, the way that they shot from the field was crazy. Like, I don't think they missed too many shots in that third quarter. I mean, I think they outscored them, what, 35-19
I believe so.
in that third. So that pretty much flipped it to where them being down at one point, like you said, and then them building up their lead. Um, and I think ultimately that made the difference. For the most part, it was enough for them to hang on. Um, and it was funny because I was in another group chat, and I know somebody who they're a big Boston fan. So they in the group chat, talking their stuff, talking
Mm-hmm.
and talk. And I was like, hey, go ahead and talk it. I mean, because they up big right now. It's looking like, all right, blowout city. It's all but over. We on the game 4. Now it's not if, it's now it's when. does this happen, right? And then you kind of look and you see Dallas chipping away, and I'm like, hey, here we go again, and we've seen this happen with Boston numerous of times, right? Where they have a big lead, it looks like they should have this game in the bag, and then before they either they've lost the lead and lose the game,
Mm-hmm.
or they make it a little too close for comfort. So thankfully for them, this time it was on their side in their favor to where they got a little too close for comfort, but they still made enough baskets there in that fourth quarter to ultimately still give them that space.
Yeah.
Um, but my next takeaway from it was outside of that third quarter was actually Jason Kidd. From the point of that big run that Dallas made, was like, I think it was like, what, 25, 27 to 2 run that they had, and they got it down to 3. Your team is hot.
He called
Jaylen Brown
about
chucks up a 3, misses. You get the rebound, and they call a
the
timeout.
timeout.
To me, I felt like that's what killed their momentum. And then after that, that's when you get the there's that, I think, one foul that Luka took that he probably shouldn't have taken. It was like a almost like a take foul, or he reached
Mm-hmm.
in, kind of almost like trying. I don't want to say like a wasted foul, but anyway, in a way, it was a wasted foul. But
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that if you already have 4, knowing that the next time you get a whistle for anything and it's on you, you're out of there. And I get it. In a way, they kind of had to challenge it for his last foul because obviously you want to try to keep him in the game. But I thought
Think,
live, even on the replay, I'm like, that's an easy call. It's a blocking foul.
yeah. That's
He's there, but he was still moving. There's nothing to me where I can see where you can say, okay, overturn that and put that foul on Jaylen Brown. I just didn't see no way where they could do that, and it sucked, and it was unfortunate that he had to sit out that last 4-12. But he had a couple of early fouls that he didn't have to take. Like, I know there was one where he missed like a deep 3-point shot, and
mm-hmm.
you could probably argue to say that maybe Horford was in the landing space, and they didn't call it. Okay, they didn't call it, and you get up and take like a frustration foul. Um, you can't really do that when you're the guy
Yeah.
on this team. And also, I do think, even though we talk about Kyrie having taken that shot, and then everybody want to say, "Oh, that was the 2016
Mm,
type of shot that he took." Yeah, that's fine. That was over Steph Curry. That was Al Horford was guarding him.
yeah.
That's the difference, trying to get that shot off over someone who's 6'2", 6'3", and 6'11". That's a big difference of making that shot. He definitely should have took it to the basket at least, because there's still plenty of time left for you to get one stop, play 2 for 1,
Mm,
in your favor, to at least go to the basket to get that 2 for 1, get a stop, come back, and you can. Then at that point, if it's a 2-point game, it's 20 seconds left. You want to try to take the 3 for it. I ain't mad at you. You want to go ahead and get it over with. That's fine. But I do also think that, I know people want to talk about Luka's defense and maybe how that nullified what happened for Dallas and what got them in this hole. Yes, it's been bad, um, but also at the same time, the role players hadn't been making their shots like that.
mm-hmm.
The first 2 games, it was pretty much all Luka. We finally get a like you said, a Kyrie-esque type of game, and I do think at some point Luka probably should have gave Kyrie the keys a little bit more,
Mm,
and I think that's something that he can kind of grow into and learn from if they want to keep this core together and keep their tandem together. It's kind of more so, okay, he's taking over right now. I may not be having my best game. Let's let him run the show a little bit more. And I think there was sometimes in that game where he being Luka didn't allow Kyrie to do that. And, it is what it is. But
two.
I just think that timeout after they got their rebound and was down by 3 was really bad from Jason Kidd.
So the first thing that I thought of when you mentioned that timeout, I can't remember what game it was, but the 2019 finals between Toronto and Golden State.
Game 5. It
Game
was game
five,
5 where
the
Toronto could have wrapped
the
it up.
Raptors were coming back on a run, coming back against Golden State. They get a stop. They go down, or yeah, they were on a run, and I believe they got a stop and got the rebound. And Nick Nurse called a timeout. Called the
And
time, and
Kawhi was
it
smoking the
yeah, and
boys.
Kawhi Leonard was going berserk. Called a timeout and killed all momentum. They ended up losing that basketball game. As soon as you said that, that's the first thing that popped up in my mind. That I remember being like, why would you as the home team that's going on a run call a timeout? Why would you do that? So I didn't even think about that until you just said it. And then my second response to what you said is the whole thing with Luka and his defense. I get it. Does he need to play better defense? Yes. I'm not saying that he doesn't. But what I believe there are people are acting like he was known as a defensive juggernaut anyway. Could he play better defense? Yes, but he was never known as a defensive stopper in the first place. If people were going to go at somebody on the Dallas Mavericks basketball team, it was going to be either him or Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving
Yeah.
has a lack of size, or Luka, because he's probably either going to be matched up on Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, or you're going to switch to him every time. Like he's not quick. He's not quick twitched. He doesn't have. He's not the slightest of foot. Like he's a mismatch, and Boston was going to take care of that. So I think that the way the reaction has been about his defense is like, oh, he was supposed to be like he's supposed to be like Jaden McDaniels or something, or the glove, or Scottie Pippen. Like he's supposed to be just this defensive stopper. It's like, no, man. Like, can he be better? Yes, he can be better, but he's never been known for his defense. So, um, can't take those stupid fouls. But it's like he was never known for that anyway. So that was going to be the mismatch regardless. Um, and I don't know where you about to go with this, but I kind of have a hot take, just a little bit. And I know Tatum led the team in points last night. Can we go ahead and say that Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Boston Celtics?
I
The
don't
reason
think
why,
that's a bad, but I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I mean,
based upon when in these situations, the last finals they were in, Jason Tatum did not play well. In this finals, Jason Tatum did not play well up until last night. Who's been the guy? The Celtics win the championship. Jaylen Brown is the MVP.
I
Jaylen
agree.
Brown is the MVP. And I think that I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think Jaylen Brown is the most consistent of the two. I think on a night in, night out basis, Jaylen Brown is going to be the most consistent guy between him and Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is bigger. I think he shoots the ball better, but he is very, very streaky. And he can have games like he had in game 1 or game 2 where you need an APB out for him. You can't find him. And then he'll show up game 3. We'll see what happens on tomorrow in game 4. But this playoff run, especially in these finals, I'm looking. I'm like, I think Jaylen Brown might be the best player on the Boston Celtics, and it's not Jason Tatum. But that's just me. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I mean, he's had the better games, the better, like you said, better run here in the playoffs because it's not like how, okay, yeah, Tatum had 31 points, but he went 11 for 26. Like when Jaylen Brown has been getting his buckets, it's been so efficient. Like I don't see how and when it's time for them to like for real to get like one of those clutch buckets, usually when he takes it, it's going in. So I mean, I don't think it's a wild take. I don't think it's an outlandish take for anyone to say that. I think it could be a 1A or 1-2, however you want to view it. I don't think it really should matter who you maybe view as, the best, because that's how it's supposed to work though, right? Like, okay, if Tatum can't get you what we need to get consistently, you should be able to have to where Jaylen Brown picks up that slack for you, or vice versa. You don't want it to where obviously both of them are having bad nights, because then there's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But if one of them is having a good night, or a good to great night, and the other one can just pick up in whatever they fit in, and Derek White bound to give you something
Mm-hmm.
every night. You know what I'm saying? And then at that point, all you need is one or two more other guys to just step in and do what they have to do. I mean, Peyton Pritchard, he can get off at any moment from three. So
And House.
yeah, him and Hauser. So it's like they got the supporting cast there. So I think it's supposed to be to where it gets set up to where, as long as it falls in those two hands between Tatum and Brown, then all is good. But I wouldn't sit up here and disagree with you and say, nah, I still think it's Jason Tatum. I mean, you can really have the debate. I mean, if it came down to me, like if they say, all right, we got to pick up game, who you picking first between those two? I will probably still lean slightly towards Jason Tatum. But if somebody else went and say, well, I want Jaylen Brown, I'm not going to refute that or argue that to say, well, why would you do that? Well, what about you? I look and I see, all right, well, let's rock
Yeah.
then. Let's get, you know what I'm saying? Let's go get it. So, um, I think it's showing that, he can't be left out of the conversation, or it's not outlandish to say
Yeah.
he's the best player on their team for sure. Just because you're looking at this run he has, and I don't, like you said, I don't think it's close. Even if Tatum can go off for 40 in Game 4 tomorrow night, I still think Jaylen Brown is the MVP. I don't see it no other way. I don't see it no other way. I think he's just had that type of playoff run, and he's had a more, like you said, a more consistent
Mm-hmm.
final series to where it's been every game, not one game, 2 games. All right, down for a couple games. All right, back up, down again, back up. He's been
Yeah.
consistent with it, in which that's in the end, that's really all you want, is that consistency. I mean, so now when you look at it now, we're going into Game 4. Obviously, Game 3 was kind of do or die anyway for Dallas, but
Yeah.
now in the ultimate terms of the season, it's do or die. So far as with Dallas, what is it that they could possibly do to try to extend this series as long as they can? And then for Boston, how do you view this season for them, if they go ahead and close the deal on Friday?
Well, for Dallas, I think the big thing is, I think maybe outside of game one, they just got drugged. Game two and game three, there were big leads that Boston had that they chipped away at and found themselves back into the basketball game. They have to figure out, especially in the third quarter. It's been the third quarter when Boston has just erupted. They got to figure out a way to keep Boston from going on one of those runs in that third quarter. If you can't stop them, then they need to go tit for tat with them. That's going to be tough if your other guys aren't hitting shots. PJ Washington, Derek Jones, so on and so forth. They have to find a way to get stops in that third quarter. If they can do that, they're going to give themselves a chance to win this basketball game. They're going to need Kyrie and Luka. They're going to need Kyrie to have a similar game that he had last night, and they're going to need Luka to have one of the. He's going to be on track like he was last night as well. Obviously, he's got to stay out of foul trouble, but they need to just play better. If they could play defense the way they played it when they went on that run, if they could find a way to play that, have that level of energy and effort on the defensive side of the ball, will give themselves a chance to win this basketball game. But the third quarter, they got to figure out this third quarter because Boston has just been raining threes like crazy in the third quarter of this finals. And if if they figure out a way to close this out tomorrow night, you're talking about one of the better teams and one of the better seasons in NBA history. Um, I think wire to wire, they were the best team in basketball from start to finish. They had the best record in the NBA, winning 66 games. They have for all of the uncertainty, for all of the questions that they got, as far as some of the lapses that they've had. We've talked about that on this show, where I said I couldn't really trust them, which is why I picked Dallas because I couldn't trust that they could get a lead and sustain it because time and time again they get a big lead and they find a way to lose a game, or they find a way to lose a game where they have a big lead and it just doesn't make any sense. Especially with the caliber of players that they have on that basketball team. So I think it just solidified as one of the best seasons in NBA history. Um, Definitely get that monkey off their back as far as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown getting the monkey off their back as far as being in the conference finals for so many years, getting to the finals and losing, and be able to get back and win. And if they win on tomorrow, winning a sweep, dominating fashion, that speaks volumes. And then Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla has caught a lot of heat. He's caught a lot of heat over his tenure since he's taken over for the Boston Celtics as the head coach. And they win the sweep, they win tomorrow night. He would have silenced a lot of critics, a lot of people who believe that he probably wasn't the right man for the job. The critics that thought that he couldn't get it done, that he wasn't the right type of leader for this basketball team. They win tomorrow night, or even just in general, they win the finals. He would solidify that he's one of the better coaches in the NBA, and basically tell everybody to shut up and let me do my job. So um, we'll see, man. Fat Lady hasn't sung yet. Dallas has a shot tomorrow night because they're gonna roll the ball out and start with a fresh 48. But if Boston pulls this off, whether it be Friday, Sunday, whatever it is, um, that it'll be one of the best seasons we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, for me with Dallas, of course, yeah, you need the stars to be there for Luca and Kyrie, but somebody else got to do something too, bro. Like watching the post game show on NBA TV, watching it with who was on there. I think there was Steve Smith and Grant Hill and Chuck, and Charles Barkley was talking about it. How like those guys, the others, gotta because he was kind of already saying the season's over, the finals over, is done, but he was like they got to go and work on something to where some guys can still create something for themselves.
Yeah.
And because the only other guy who really off the top of your head that you can think of that really can create something for themselves probably is Tim Hardaway Jr., but he hasn't been playing that much.
Mm-mm.
So, and he didn't have a great showing here in game three. So do you think he'll find a way to get 27 minutes again on game four? Who knows? But somebody from that other core, that group of others have to find a way to step up and at least if knock down the shots if they can, if they're open, find a way to create something because that's the thing with Boston, right? They don't have a problem with any of their others, like we said, like Hauser, White, Pritchard, to to help pitch in every now and again. Al Horford can mess around and have him a game from deep, so they have their guys chipping in like that. That's what Dallas kind of needs too. It's all in all just full team effort. They gotta go all in. I mean, it's all or nothing for Dallas. And for Boston, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. Right? A lot of people, try to, I don't want to say make an excuse or try to put an asterisk almost into what they're doing, but they They had the best, like you said, they had the best record in the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
66 wins. They've been dominant all year. I mean, if they go ahead and finish it out on Friday night, that's a playoff record of 16-2.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's up there, right? No matter, and you can say what you want to say and say, well, look who they played and everything like that, and it's in the East. I mean, that right there is something that one they kind of really can't control, or in all honesty, they did control by being the top seed in the East to where they faced who they needed to face, took care of business. I mean, and on top of that, they just they also can't control on what happened out in the West. I mean, right, when you look at it, it's kind of funny, right? I mean, Minnesota beats Denver, Dallas beats Minnesota. So it's just like it's kind of crazy, right? Because I mean, probably if it ends up being, which we probably thought it would have been, probably Denver, Boston. Who knows what this series would have went? Because I think matchup wise, that would have been something. Even if it was Minnesota, Boston, we can be like, okay, matchup wise, I
And
think
then
we
match
could have,
up
got something.
better.
Yeah, they just match up better. So I mean, all in all, when it comes down to the series, right? Boston is and was going to be the better team in this series. So I just feel like you can't fault them for doing what they're supposed to do, is
Yeah.
them being the better team. They are the better team, and it is what it is. And I just think also, just for the franchise in general, right? They've been kind of pushing for this banner 18 for quite some time, right? I mean, they came close in 2010 to get it, with the old Big Three squad there. Had that tough 7-game series with the Lakers. Like you said, the numerous times of being in the conference finals. When the Big Three of Miami was there, and then LeBron in Cleveland. So it's just been plenty of times, and then finally getting over the hump
Yeah.
um, against Miami, and then going to the finals a couple of years ago, being up 2-1 against Golden State, so where it looked like they had a chance to get it there, and they just been so close, but haven't been able to finish it off. And like I said earlier, it looks like it's not a matter of if, it's now, it's when.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, when that does happen, I think that's gonna bring it's gonna almost feel like, instead of more of excitement, usually when teams trying to win a chip and everything like that, I think there's a whole lot of excitement to it and everything like that. But I feel like for them, it's gonna be more like almost like a sigh of relief,
It's gonna be
right?
relief. Let's breathe. We can breathe.
Like, oh, now people can't say that, oh, this tandem of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can't win anything together. You know, like you said, nobody can really say anything now about Joe Mazzulla, of how he coaching, what he coaches, and talking about, well, what Ime Udoka would do right here, or what this coach right here would do, or who else would. All that, just for that time being, for sure, gets put to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it really doesn't matter what happens after that. And then, of course, now when that happens, the next thing you're thinking about now is just more so, you know, how much longer they can sustain this, because you know, and then people can say, oh, the $300 million contract for Jaylen Brown, it was worth it. You like, now he proved it. It was worth it. He bet on himself. It was worth it. Tatum gonna probably end up getting a payday here soon too. No telling how much that's gonna be. So, I
Yeah.
think they just, them winning this championship is just, it's gonna put a lot of things to rest. And they'll be excited. There'll be a lot of excitement, obviously. But I really do, like you said, we kind of just both said it. It's gonna be like just a huge, like, okay, like, this is done. The monkey is off our backs. We don't have to keep hearing this about this over and over and over and over again. So, um, that's how I look at it. I think Dallas will give some effort, but I think Boston goes ahead and wrap this up for Game 4. What you thinking?
I think Dallas wins tomorrow and they finish on home court. I think Dallas wins tomorrow, and I think Game 5 in Boston. I think it's over. I think.
I would love to see a Game 5. I would love to see a
Yeah.
Game 5. Just extend it out one more game, but
Yeah. I think they'll figure it out. They've been close, man, and I don't I just it's hard for me to see Kyrie and Luka look like this, get swept without having any type of an answer. So I think that they'll figure it out. I think they'll win tomorrow night.
So do you think that it's just more so like Dallas is just gassed because of the type of series that they've had coming up to the finals? I mean, what they went six with the Clippers.
Yeah,
What was it? Six with OKC
six, and then
and
uh,
what and five with
I think
Minnesota. I mean, albeit they didn't go no full 7 games at either one of them, but
yeah, I don't know if they're gassed. I think some of the physical play. I think that physical play is bothering them. I think Minnesota plays tough, hard nosed defense, but they were fouling.
yeah.
Boston playing tough, hard nosed defense, but they're not fouling. They're not getting off of fouls, and I think that's what's bothering them. Honestly, like there are times when Minnesota wouldn't foul. I mean, they lock them up. I think Boston is playing tough defense, but they are not fouling, and so you're not sending Luka, you're not sending Kyrie to the free throw line 7, 8, 9 times a game. And I think that's what's bothering them right now. And then the defense that Dallas had been playing, which had a lot of people thinking that they were going to be in this position in the finals. Um, they've had too many defensive lapses. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, some of these dudes have had, I mean, wide open corner threes. You know, Kyrie's getting lost in rotation. Luka's getting lost in rotations, and they're just out there having shoot around out there, the 3 point line. So I think the combination of those two things, but Boston is just playing probably the same caliber of defense that Minnesota was playing. They're just not fouling, and it's obviously it's rattled the Dallas Mavericks offense.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, yeah, I don't want to say it's more so just kind of like them being gassed. I don't know either. Um, I just think once again it just boils down that Boston's the better team.
Yeah,
It's as simple as put. I think Boston's the better team. So we'll see what happens on tomorrow night, on Friday night. Maybe it may end, or we might get one more. I think Game 5 will be Monday
probably Monday.
if if um
Let me tell
if Dallas comes through. I believe it's Monday. I know they kind of space out,
for travel.
yeah, a little bit since they'll be coming back to Boston.
It was,
Will it be Monday?
uh,
It'll be Monday for sure. So that's that with that, man. We'll see. Interesting to see what happens with that. I mean, crazy NBA season. As all day goes on and everything like that. But man, as we turn our shift to out of the NBA and we're gonna go into the four square circle in the boxing ring. Big fight night coming up Saturday, June 15th. Obviously, Gervonta Tank Davis going up against Frank the Ghost Martin um, for the lightweight championship of the world. I think it's what belt does Tank hold? Is he WBO?
I think it's WBO.
Is it WBO?
Let me check.
Can't remember which one he has, man. I know he got one, and Pillow Hand still got the other one. Uh, and I'm trying to think who got. I can't remember who I got the belts
I
in, but that's
I
neither
can't
here.
think now because you threw me off.
Sorry, man. I
WBA.
just
Take his
WBA. Okay, he is the WBA. Cool. So,
pillow hand.
um, I mean, hey, man, this is it's a big fight right here.
Mm.
Obviously, you look at the tail of the tape. Both guys undefeated. Tank 29-0, 27 knockouts. Martin 18-0 with 12 knockouts. So he being frank, is still kind of coming along here in the boxing game. But hey, big shot, big opportunity. Who wouldn't say no to fight probably, arguably one of the pound for pound best fighters that we got, in the sport right now.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you not turn that down? Or who wouldn't turn that down? So interesting to see that. And I mean, that's not the only big fight on that card, man. You also look at David Benavidez
Yep.
going up from 168 to 175 at light heavyweight. He said he don't feel like waiting on Canelo no more. And I can understand why. I watched his last couple of fights, just the couple of the other day. I see why Canelo is not trying to.
He put people to sleep.
I I see
He put
I see
people to sleep,
why.
dude.
I see why. I mean, he takes some hits,
Yeah.
but but when he delivers them, I mean, it's crazy. But he's going up against Alexander Gosevich, who was a former. He's a former light heavyweight championship holder anyway, and I think this fight for them is going to be for the interim light heavyweight championship in the WBC, and I believe pretty much the winner, whoever wins that fight, will end up fighting the winner between Bivol and Benavides when they get to tussling for their unified light heavyweight championship. So, a couple other fights on there on the card. Should be a real good card from top to bottom. I think a lot of people. You of course you're here for the main event, the co-main
Mm-hmm.
event, but you like to see what's on them undercards as well too, just because one, you want to get your money's worth. I mean, and you just never know who you might see, right? Some of these guys now that's fighting on these main cards and co-main events, main events started in the same situation too. So kind of want to see those next up and coming stars there. But man, when you look at just this fight in general, whichever one you want to look at, I guess we just really, I guess really the Tank and Martin fight. Uh, what are you looking forward to in this one? What's some keys that both guys need to probably look out for to have to be successful to be the winner come the end of Saturday night?
I think the big thing for Frank is to whatever the game plan is, stay within the game plan. Do not deviate from it. He's going to throw. He said he can knock him out. You cannot deviate from whatever the game plan is that Derrick James has put out for you, because if you go in there, if he goes in there and he catches Tank with a good one, he gets a reaction from Tank. Obviously, the innate reaction is to go in and try to go and knock him out, and that's where he can go in and get knocked out. So he needs to be smart. I think be smart, use your footwork, and you need to be ready to counter. You need to be ready to counter, but know that if you're going to knock him out, this is not going to be a early round thing. It's probably going to take some time. The thing that I'm looking for, and anytime we talk about boxing on this show, my big thing is always we've seen Tank get hit. We've seen Tank take shots, get rattled, and obviously win because he's undefeated. I'm interested to see how Frank Martin reacts when Tank touches him. When Tank touches him with a good one, how does he react? It's the same thing with the Ryan Garcia fight. I picked Garcia to win, but I was weary because how was Ryan going to react when Tank touched him? I'm an Errol Spence guy. I've seen Errol take shots. Haven't really seen Terrence Crawford take shots. When I saw Errol hit Terrence Crawford and he did not react, I knew this was going to be a long night. If Frank reacts, if he reacts, we saw it in the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight. Haney rarely gets touched. Garcia caught him in the first round, about put him down. So okay, yeah, this is gonna be a rough night for the kid, aka Pillowheads. So I'm gonna be very very interested to see how Frank deals with that, deals with the pressure, because it's funny. It's almost like the pressure really isn't on Tank. I don't know if I would say from a standpoint of him being, I think there'll be some ring rust for sure because he's been out for 14 months, so you have that. But I don't know if really the pressure is on Tank. Everybody talks to Tank the way Frank Martin talks to Tank. Everybody, I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Tank has heard it before, and Garnett has knocked dudes out. So I think Frank needs to just stick to the game plan, watch those counter punches from Tank, and if he catches Tank, he just needs to be weary of the counter punch ability and the power of Tank Davis because one shot, even a body shot we saw with Ryan Garcia, can send you to the canvas and have the ref stopping the fight.
Yeah, for me, definitely for Tank, it's kind of more. It is the rust, the ring rust. Hadn't been in there, since the Ryan Garcia fight, so 14 months. That could be a factor for him. For me, with Frank, is the inexperience. He's kind of a late bloomer when it comes to the sport.
Yeah.
Used to be an athlete playing football and other sports and everything, but he's found his groove here in boxing. Um, this is obviously the biggest fight so far that he's ever been in, right? So these lights is gonna be they're gonna be bright. Can he handle all of that, going on, that walk to the ring? It's a little different, walking to the ring and this is the main event compared to maybe a co-main event or,
Mm-hmm.
the fight before that to where you only been going, 8, 10 rounds, a few of them that might have gone 12. Like this is 12 rounds for the belt, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like this is the end all be all pretty much. It's just how to stamp your name is one of the best ones here in 135, right? Right. So that's gonna be the thing. Also, the fact that I know a lot of people are trying to like put so much into it. I'm really not, but it still will be interesting to see about the whole. Since there's no rehydration clause in this fight, like it was with the Garcia fight, is everybody's making it seem like Frank says that he normally naturally walks around about like 150, 155. So interesting to see how much he rehydrates it
Yeah.
going into after the weigh in, which I'm assuming it'll probably be on tomorrow. That they'll have the weigh in and everything like that. When Tank is naturally at or around 135 himself anyway, or kind of can get up to about 140 or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be interesting to see about that. Also, like you said, the hits, right? Uh, Tank doesn't really care for body shots like that, getting hit in the body, but neither does Frank. So it's gonna be interesting to see who reacts, like you said, who reacts to that body shot to where, oh, I felt that. That hurt me a little
Yeah.
bit, and what happens, right? And like you say, it's important for Frank. He's gonna have to stick to that game plan because there has been a couple of guys, Romero, Ryan, there was Barrios. There's been a couple of guys who
The
stuck to their
Pitbull
game plan a
crew.
little bit. Yeah, Pitbull, right? There's been a couple of guys that kind of stuck to the plan just a little bit, and then when they thought they had Tank where they had him,
Good night, sweet.
and just one shot, and he got him right. And that's crazy because in a way, both of them are kind of like counter punches. So I don't think it's gonna be like a early, unless somebody really just get caught slipping. I don't think it ends early
Mm.
because both of them guys kind of like to, as the boxers would say, collect that data and to figure out, okay, this will work, this isn't gonna work. Let me find my distance. Let me find my spacing. Okay, now I got you. Let's go to work. I don't know if he'll go the full distance because I think both of them has the speed and the power to possibly catch each other with one good shot, and it could be over with. But I don't think it'll be, I don't think it'll be over with like third or fourth round. I think it'll get to about maybe that 8 to 10 round range, and we'll see then if Frank has that mental fortitude to keep going, and then also to see about with Tank
Yeah.
that ring rust because that's that's a lot to get back into right then and there. So when it comes down to it, though, who you got? Who you think comes out on top?
Someone's got to do it. Until then, I'm rolling with Tank. Someone got to show me that they can do it. So then I'm gonna roll with Tank Davis. I got Javante.
I'm going with Tank too. I think he'll probably have the rust those first couple of rounds for sure. But I just think, man, that the experience of him, being in different type of fights, headliner fights, dealing with some real like adversity. And people like to say, "Oh, he hadn't really fought anybody," but I mean, he still has, shown that shown that fights to not necessarily get caught slipping by anybody. So, I mean, can you say that he hadn't fought anybody? I guess, but I mean,
I mean,
the way that they politicking out in boxing now is kind of crazy. But I mean, when you look at his resume, though, most of the guys that he has fought or has beaten have all eventually became champions now. Barrios became champion. Pitbull, I think, has a belt
he
now.
thought, yeah,
Romero held the belt at one point. So, I mean,
the guys,
is it really a bad resume that
yeah,
he ain't fought
the
nobody?
guys we want him to fight. Once again, I don't want to see that Devin Haney fight now, so I'm cool. Yeah, he can fight Shakur. He can fight Ryan again. Teofimo. You got some guys out there, but
Yeah,
like the Devin Haney, I like. I think that ship has sailed. So there's some guys out there, but once it's those guys say Tank's name and then don't want to get in the ring either. So this is not like a. I don't think Tank is ducking smoke from anybody. I think people are looking for or making sure that they get paid well too when they go in there and fight Tank. So
yeah,
we'll see. But if he gets this one, you add that one to the resume.
for sure, for sure. Real quickly on Benavidez. Um, this opponent that he has with Gozovic is not an easy opponent for him to just go right into at 175. I mean, I think he's had, his he says that he naturally walks around at about around 200. Benavidez said that, so this might not have been so hard for him to, probably not really hard for him to make this weight to be at 175. But do you do you think he got a chance, man? I mean, I think he does, but this is not an easy opponent that he's facing. Do do
I got bit.
do you think there's a? I'm gonna say, do you think he got a chance to get upset, or you think he'll find a way to come out on
Nah,
top?
I got Benavidez, man. I like his game. I like his style, uh, his power. The fact that he's going up. You could see that maybe potentially being an issue, but he walks around at 200 pounds. Him going up to 75 would be fine. He would be.
Yeah,
I like Benavidez. I do think that Canelo needs to go ahead and come on outside and fight this man. He's been calling him out for so long. Um, it's time to go ahead and get in the ring, man. And I think if he wins this one, I get he wants that fight. He'll go back down and fight him. Benavidez, that is. I think if he wins this fight, to me, if I'm Canelo, that the man's undefeated. He's knocking people out left and right. He's got a belt. Granted, he's not going to fight him at 175. I think that'd be stupid if I'm Canelo. But to fight at 168, I don't see why not.
I mean, yeah, why not? If Benavidez go ahead and pulls this off and wins that belt at 175, why why don't Canelo just go ahead and let's just go ahead and make the
He should,
super fight, make the
yeah,
unified for 168,
make,
your belts, his belt, let's put it all together
yeah. He's trying
for what? But
to
I
use
mean,
these excuses that he's not marketable, not big. It was like the man's undefeated. I don't know what are we talking about? He's undefeated.
yeah, I don't know, but I do also like the fact that to a certain extent, Benavidez is not gonna sit up here and just keep waiting around for
Yeah,
this man. Like, all right, if you wanna duck me like this, I just go up, I'll just see if I can take care of, see what I can do at 175, and then if the Canelo fight can't happen, I guess he can try to see about Bivol or Benavidez whenever after they fight each other and see if he can get that one and just I guess see if he can take over at 175. If Canelo want to duck it like that, then it is what it is. So I do like the fact that he ain't really waiting around for that man to see what's
Yeah,
going on and trying to stay active because they can be dangerous, bro. And that's one thing I think as fans don't want to see. Like in boxing, you don't really want to see the guys or the stars, be so inactive, you know, by choice, that they're just not choosing to fight or don't have anything lined up here in the near future to get something going. So it's gonna be an interesting fight night, man. I can't wait to see what happens. I think it's gonna be some fireworks.
no
I think it's
doubt.
gonna be some fireworks. I think we're getting ready here for another great fight for sure. Real quickly before we wrap up, quick NFL news. More quarterbacks is getting paid. I don't want to say that's breaking news because that's always been happening, but Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, 5-year, $275 million extension. 200. 200. I'm gonna say that again. $200 million guaranteed.
Tough.
I know the big question everybody want to say is, well, did he deserve it? I think that's neither here nor there, but just the way the market is for the position, I think now you feel like you got a capable starter, you're gonna have to pay him that type of money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, what how do you feel about it?
The only I don't want to say I don't have a problem with it. Guess my only thing is you just gotta stay healthy. You gotta stay healthy. He stays healthy, I'm good. I have no issue. Injuries happen in football, obviously, but he just gotta stay healthy. He's recently these last couple of years, man, he's dealt with these injuries, got hurt, missed games, and things like that. Um, and now you're gonna pay him this money. Need you to understand something. There's a kid in your division by the name of C.J. Stroud. Plays for the Houston Texans. Think he's here to stay for a long time. So we pay you because we think you're our guy, and you need to deal with him amongst other quarterbacks. But we got somebody that's in our division in our backyard that we got to deal with 2 years, or excuse me, 2 times a year. So as long as he stays healthy, I'm good with it. Like you said, the market for quarterbacks now, man, you got to pay these dudes, and especially when you have a guy like a Trevor Lawrence who um, has a huge upside. You would hate to lose the guy. You would hate to lose him and him go elsewhere and do what you want him to do for your franchise. So you got to pay him.
Yeah, I'm not really too mad at it either. I mean, I think he's probably the only one now from that 21 class who had any type of success.
Yeah,
Um, well, consistent success, I guess, if you want to say. Maybe. I mean, outside of probably his backup now. I
man.
mean, Mac Jones went to the playoffs his rookie season, but kind of been struggling the last 2 years. So kind of had no choice, I guess, to really pay him. But also you gotta have him to cut down the turnovers too. I
Yeah,
think he had like 20, 21, 22 turnovers last year. That's a lot of turnovers for
yeah.
somebody you paying 55 million a year or something like that
Hmm.
they're gonna do. So hopefully they get it together because obviously the team that they got, man, it's a real talented team. Is there? They look like they were on pace pretty much like last season too until like you said he got hurt and the injuries came along and they just kind of fluttered down towards the end of the season and everything like that. So I think all in all, do I love the deal? I don't know, but like you said, he's the only quarterback left standing from his draft class who got this second deal. That's getting starter money, franchise quarterback money. So I don't know what else you can really do with that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully he just stays healthy and have a good year. That would be nice to see those battles between him and C.J. Stroud, and can't forget Anthony Richardson. You know, even got to throw in Will Levis a little bit. He had a solid season coming
Yeah.
in. That back half of the season for the Titans. So I'm gonna be interested to see what happens in the AFC South. But definitely between Trevor and CJ is gonna be
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
ones that you're gonna be looking forward to for sure. So that's that on that, man. But as we get to wrap up another episode, man, you got anything that you want to say to the people, bro?
Continue to be safe, stay healthy, talk with your loved ones. We appreciate the support. You guys checking in and tapping in, watching the podcast, whether it be on YouTube, the Instagram, whatever it is. I do have a question for you, man. One, I want to say Happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Um, I know I appreciate my pops. We appreciate you guys. My question for you is, what does it mean to be a father to you? What does being a father mean to you? Because I know you got the little one running around there and stuff.
Yeah. Man, that's a good question. I say what being a father to me is first and foremost giving yourself that motivation. Um, and then also knowing that it's not about you. You know, once you find out that you're a father or that you're about to be a parent, you know, you yourself first kind of goes out of the window. So you got to make sure you really, you just taking care of whatever you need to take care of, man. And I think also just being a father is just, being that provider, uh, someone that, you know, not only that like that's your own like seed look up to, but what other people kind of look up to, right? Or just to give you that words of affirmation that you're doing a good job, man. I know there's a lot of times where fathers don't get a lot of positive
Mm-hmm.
feedback. Um, it's a little tricky at times. Sometimes you know when you're doing what you're supposed to do, and rightfully so, that is what you're supposed to do. Sometimes it gets overlooked as like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do, compared to the other side, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's this, that's that, that's that. But you don't know what that person as a father is going through, or what they did to get what happened to get them to where they are now. So I just think more so, just man, being a father is just obviously handling your business, um, setting that great example, um, because they learn from you first. You know what I'm saying? They learn from you first before they really learn from anywhere else. There's gonna be some other things that they get taught that they won't learn from you, but they learn definitely from home and from you first. So I just think more so just being a father, man, is just like seriously like handling your business, going above and beyond for your family, and just setting that example. So that's what I think what being a father to me is, man.
Cool, man. With that being said, I'm good.
For sure. But yeah, for sure. Happy Father's Day to the fathers out there that's coming up, man. All the ones that that's taking care of they kids, man. That's whether it be with their family, they co-parenting, a single dad, all of that, man. Even if that's not your biological children, all of that. That's part of fatherhood, man. Just shout outs to all the dads that's doing that, taking care of their business, handling their business with that. Um, Listen, for the ones who like to do that little speech, that little spiel, y'all know what speech I'm talking about. I understand for some, there's different things to where maybe, dad wasn't there, pops ain't there, or whatever like that. let's not try to rain on nobody's parade, and let's just leave it at that. We don't do it for Mother's Day. Let's do the same thing for here. That's all I gotta say on
I
that.
hear
But
I hear you.
that's all I gotta say about that, man. And I understand everybody's situation is different, so how you feel about it is how you feel about it. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, continue to support the podcast. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on the social medias, on the Instagram, on the Twitter. We would definitely appreciate that. We love the support, love the feedback. Um, yeah, continue to just support the podcast, man. There's really nothing else I can say as far as with that. Love black women, cherish black women, protect black women.
Mm-hmm.
No means no.
No means no.
You know, like we mentioned on the last episode, it's getting hotter. Summertime is coming. I know there's gonna be, pool parties, all this stuff and everything like that. We're gonna make sure that we want to have fun, but not too much fun. We what I'm saying, we gotta make sure and just make sure we survive the summer. And I mean that, figuratively and literally, like let's survive the summer, man. Man, pray for my city, bro. Pray for Memphis. It's crazy down
Yeah,
there, man. I saw down there was 4 kids and an adult was just shot on the interstate, and nobody even knows why
going on. Yeah,
they were shot, bro. You know what I'm saying? So pray for the city, man. Uh, just let's just hope we can kind of get through the summer where none of us or really anybody, I
yeah.
hope, doesn't have to say, man, RIP or any of that stuff like that, man. So let's just keep it going. Oh, dang, real quick. I ain't put it on there, but I just thought about that, man. Rest in peace to the legend, to the
Oh, yeah,
logo, Jerry West.
yeah.
Had to throw that in there, man. Rest in peace to the legend, the logo, Jerry West. Successful, very, very successful college and NBA career. Went to 10 finals, only won one, but hey, went to 10 finals, man. You can't really fault him on that. Uh, is the silhouette, is the logo.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great stint as a coach, even though he wasn't a coach that long, but obviously everybody knows him for his tenures being the Lakers GM. Think about it, right? Make the trade for Kobe from Charlotte to LA,
Mm-hmm.
brought in Shaq a week later, and what started there. Was an executive in Memphis for the Grizzlies and their early success in Memphis with their early playoff run. So, man, just a respectful legend. Um, all in all, man, rest in peace. I
No
guess he
doubt.
said he couldn't take the Celtics winning one more, man. He said I got to
Yeah,
go.
I guess. I guess.
He said
Yeah,
I got to go.
yeah. No, no doubt. No doubt, man. No doubt.
Man, but yeah, until the next time, y'all, this has been another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast.
Peace.